What's going on, everybody? It's here, and welcome back to another episode of South Stand Stories. This series, of course, we go through everything happening in and around the world of Leeds United, and we have a little talk about it, and it was a phenomenal victory for Leeds United today as we push back into the top two. Oh my days, it has been a hot minute since I've seen Leeds even sniffing about Leicester City's tail, and we are now there comfortably secured for another 10 or 12 hours at least before the other sides play, and it is squeaky bum time again. Hopefully, if they do lose, Leeds can maintain opposition within the top two, but currently as things stand, Southampton and Ipswich both have 2 games in hand. Leicester only 1 and are 9 points ahead of us, which really just makes me kick myself about that Christmas period we had. It really does, because the games we lost were exactly like the game we won today against Bristol City. Exactly like it. A game in which we're comfortable in. A game in which we should have been 5 or 6 to the good. We're only 1-0 up. And then just completely capitulate at the end. Thankfully, we didn't do that today. But again, it was another game in which we really should have been out of sight within the first half even. Let alone the chances that we had in the second half. We really should have put Bristol City to the sword. We didn't. We got a good victory, but it wasn't the best performance in my opinion because of the fact we didn't take our chances. It was a good performance in the fact we were dominant. Bristol City looked average. They never really looked like they put Leeds under too much fear, especially in the second half. It was a bit of a cakewalk, really. Bristol City didn't do anything to threaten Meslier. He had to make a couple of saves, if that, really, and a couple right at the end. Aside from that, it was completely dominant from Leeds. Gnonto could have had another goal. He only had 1 shot on target, actually. He did score from it. Phenomenal goal, by the way he took it. Okay, yeah, the finish wasn't in the corner, but the way that he intercepted, or rather he read the play, got himself in the right position. It was a loose ball. The defender could have easily got it, but he anticipated that the ball was going to fall there. He made the run, picked it up outside of the area, takes it onto his left foot, and it's a great finish. It's not a world-class finish, but it was a good finish. Got it past the keeper, and he had to have the composure to keep it down there, and he did. But what I would say, he could have had another goal, even perhaps. You know, there was a chance right near the end of the second half. Somerville takes the ball, he cuts it down the right, and this is what I did like, to be fair. What I will say, Gnonto and Somerville, I've said before a million times, I think the problem with them is they both play their best football on the left-hand side, in my opinion. Yes, they can both play either side, but they both play their best football on the left-hand side, in my opinion. But the good thing about those two playing together, which you don't necessarily see as much with Somerville and James, is they will switch sides a lot of the time. A lot of the time you'll see Somerville going out onto the right-hand side, Gnonto dropping into the left or into the middle of the pitch, which just opens up a completely different dynamic for Leeds attacking, in that it's so hard for defenders to read it. And that's how you see the goal we got. Gnonto scored the goal from the middle of the pitch, going onto the left-hand side of the pitch. He didn't score it coming off the right. He scored it coming through the middle out to the left. And that is where we got the goal, because it confuses defenders when we did that. And that's what I said. We could have got another one. Somerville this time drifts over to the right-hand side. Gnonto drops back into the middle. And Somerville realistically should have been cutting it back to Gnonto, because Gnonto had a great opportunity if he did do that. Instead, he decides to take it out down the byline, just past the defender, shimmies onto his right foot, and he drills it, and it just goes past the post. It was close. It was a great effort. It was a great effort. But I think once he took it out to the right-hand side, he'd shifted his weight over to the right-hand side, he'd taken it out. All he had to do, just a nice, gentle cutback into the middle of the box, and Gnonto is there in acres of space, and I think it would have been 2-0 Leeds. But having said that, I thought Somerville was phenomenal today. Again, another great performance for him. Didn't get himself a goal, but was really involved. He always is, man. This is the thing. I mean, Gnonto scored, but aside from that, like, in terms of crosses or creative opportunities, he wasn't as involved. But Somerville, every single game, he's putting dangerous crosses in. He's making the pass before the pass to score the goal, or he's making an assist, or he's driving 2 defenders down. He's getting fouled. He's pushing Leeds up the field. He's always getting involved. And today I thought he was great. Rutter, I thought, really grew into the game. I thought he played his best football within the last 20 minutes or so. Again, It was one of those games where he would take on 2-3 players and that fourth player would just elude him. They would just take him down. And it was just that final bit missing from Rutter's game. But otherwise, I thought he had another great game. I thought Bamford put himself around well. Yes, he could have scored a couple. But having said that again, I thought he played well. And finally, Gnonto, wow. Eat your heart out. First of all, first goal in the second half of football in his Leeds United career. First goal for Leeds this season. And I think this could be the changing of the tides for Wilfried Gnonto. I really do believe it could be, because we've all sat here from last season. We all sat here loving him, admiring him, worshipping the ground in which he walked on. That's how much we loved him as Leeds fans. He was adored. And then you go from that to being one of the most hated men at the club. And at such a young age to go through that, you can understand why his performances may have dipped. You can understand why his confidence might have been knocked. Because Wilfried Gnonto, yes, what he did was horrible. Yes, what he did, there's no excusing it. You can't refuse to play. But I think he was just ill-advised. I really do believe it wasn't him doing that off his own free will. I feel obviously he did it off his own free will, and you should be accountable for your own actions, but I don't know if it was his parents or his agent, whoever advised him, really sold him short there, and you should hang your head in shame for the way that you advised him to deal with that situation. I can understand it. He was 19 years of age. You've got Mancini on the blower, the international manager for Italy, saying, listen, we want you involved in the next major tournament next season. You're not going to be involved if you're playing at Leeds United. You have to be playing in the top flight. Obviously, as a 19-year-old, you're going to be sat there. You've played for a year at Leeds. You're one of the most hotly spoken about wingers in the league. Everybody wants you. You're sat there like, yeah, I've been relegated. Why would I stay with this club? I want to play for Italy. I've been told I have to move. You can understand why he would want to go. Just the way he did it was all wrong. And as I said, I believe that was the way he was advised to. But listen, and then to go from that to them being hated and ridiculed and being called all sorts of names under the sun by Leeds fans, you can understand why his performances might have dropped. I'm not saying that's the only reason. I'm still disappointed with the way he's played this season. But I do believe the potential of him signing a new contract, it could just shift the tides. I don't think he'll ever be adored and loved the way that he was that year because of everything that happened. Maybe he could get there in a couple of years. But I think if he signs this new contract, gets a big wage increase, commits his future to the club, I think it could be huge. Because most fans here, we were all sat there thinking, listen, he wants out. That's why he's not trying. His performances aren't that great. The second he gets a chance in January, he's jumping the ship. Not only did he not jump the ship, now whether that's because people didn't want him or he didn't want to go, he didn't jump the ship. But he's also pledging his future to the club by signing a new contract if he does, if it all goes through. And then you couple that with his first game since that news, of his best performance in a Leeds United shirt, in my opinion. He looked hungry. He looked fierce. He was making brilliant runs the entire game. Usually, Jorginho Rutter, what he does, he picks the ball up in the middle of the pitch and he looks straight to Somerville. Somerville's making the runs in behind. Really spreading out wide, really giving him an option instantly. This time he had Gnonto as well. The amount of times that Rutter would ping a ball diagonally to Gnonto and it would just get intercepted right before it got to Gnonto. And if it did get to him, he would have been in there one-on-one easily about 3 or 4 times. So many times that happened. And it just gives us another dimension with Gnonto playing this role. And I thought it was his best performance in a Leeds United shirt. And this season, his best performance this season in a Leeds United shirt. And I think signing the new contract, pledging his allegiance to the club, I think it just gets the fans back on his side. He can get the confidence going, and I think it could be huge, better than a signing almost, if he can turn his form around. Because if he can turn his form around and regain what he had last season, he is 10 times better than anyone we could have signed in January. Better than Manuel Benson. That's why I'm not too fussed about Manuel Benson if this Gnonto move pays off. Because a prime Gnonto, at playing his best football, is 10 times the player Manuel Benson is. Let's be real, it is. The performances he was putting in last year, if he can rekindle that kind of form, 10 times the player. Literally phenomenal. Some of the stuff he was doing last year. And I believe he can get himself back to that point. Today was a big move in the right direction. Also, I love to see it. Rutter picking him up, taking him to the fans. Gnonto doing his celebration in front of the fans, getting the adulation that he deserves off that performance. He scored the winner. We won 1-0, got us into the top 2, and he was the one that scored the goal. He got his opportunity, and he took it. And then even Somerville picking him up, hoisting him up, taking him back over there. I just love to see the good spirit in the air. I love to see the fans give Gnonto his moment, and hopefully this can be the turning point for Leeds. I really believe it can. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that this could be? Do you think I'm going a bit too hard, a bit too overzealous with it? I believe this really could be the moment for Leeds. Let me know what you guys think, though, down in the comment section down below. For now, guys, though, I will see you guys very, very soon. Au revoir, my brothers and my sisters.